The light bulb that went off in my head when I started researching it was how damaging alcohol is to your gut. It's impossible to have a healthy gut if that is your lifestyle. So we teased this at the end of the last podcast, so I'll just remind people. But I'm Chase. I'm leading a challenge in 2026 called the Sober Psycho Challenge. And O and I connected at the beginning of the year because I had just started this thing. He had just started this podcast. And in our first kind of time of like coming together and talking about everything, we just thought, how cool would it be to make, because the Sober Psycho Challenge is only about sobriety. It's 365 days of not drinking, which in itself is a huge challenge. Is awesome. I'm not trying to diminish that like at all. But at the same time, we both have a fitness background. We both generally like health and wellness, and just it naturally came up. Well, it would be cool to make an even harder version of this challenge. An even harder version of Sober Psycho. So we've been getting together behind the scenes, kind of talking about this. And that's kind of the rabbit hole I ended up going down. Okay, if you make gut health the primary foundation of what you're trying to repair and optimize, could there be a good challenge almost built around that? And maybe you talk a little bit about, because I think you know a lot more about this, what gut health is. It's so much more than digestion and probiotics. That's what people go to. It's so much more than that.
Well, I'm probably not the expert to talk about it, but I mean, I think I've just here recently have just been researching a lot more. The health of our gut affects our mood, our ability to focus, right? You get foggy brain with unhealthy gut bacteria. Everything that you consume like truly matters. And so like what's good for the gut is good for the brain, is good for the body. It is just all connected. And if you look at it that way, it could start with everything that you consume.
If you look at the skin as kind of like an external tool that the body uses to warn you when you're, of something going on, right? So alcoholics a lot of times will have skin problems. You can see it in their skin. It's the most basic is redness, but then spider hemangiomas is something that can pop up. It is an outward like warning that like, hey, you're doing something to your body that's not good for it. I think the more I've researched gut health, if you think about it in this way, the gut and the health of the gut, so the diversity of the microbiome and all that is almost like our internal warning system that actually is, in order to have a healthy gut, so many things internally have to be healthy. So like your organs have to be healthy, your brain has to be healthy. Like there's just so many things. And again, we're neither one experts on this. So I do want to preface that. It just seems like knowing that if you then optimize your life, because it's also something that lifestyle choices affect. So sleep impacts your gut, and other things. So if you optimize a challenge or build a challenge around the idea of optimizing your gut health, it's almost like a way of optimizing your whole body, your full body health. And that's, I think, why I was like, that's so cool. Then the other connection, because a big part of Sober Psycho is I want to reach people that have never thought of themselves as having a problem with alcohol, so they just don't ever live without alcohol in their lives. That's a big component. And I think what kind of the light bulb that went off in my head when I started researching it was how damaging alcohol is to your gut. You might be able to drink once a month very moderately and sustain a healthy gut, but like that's it. And I mean, let's be real, who that's moderately drinking is doing that? The normal moderate drinker, even if you're on the lighter side, you're drinking multiple nights a week, 2 to 3 drinks at least. A lot of people do a lot more than that. And it is impossible. This is what I've uncovered that I wanted to talk to you about. It's impossible to have a healthy gut if that is your lifestyle.
If that's your lifestyle.
Right? So it's almost like bridging the gap between people that think, oh, I'm not a problem drinker, So there's no advantage to me not drinking.
Yeah.
And we know that is not true, because I've experienced what it feels like to not drink, coming from a moderate drinking background.
Yeah.
And how insanely good it feels.
Yeah.
And how so many things in your life improve, and your brain fog improves, and your mental clarity improves, and just all these things, your sleep improves. So I knew just from living it that there was something more going on. And that the alcohol that I was consuming just a couple of nights a week was more damaging than most people realize.
I think you bring up a good point, because it's such a hard thing to gauge. If you're a moderate drinker, somebody that doesn't drink that much, it's easy to be like, oh, I only drink on occasion. Like I'll have 1 to 2 glasses on the weekend or something like that. Are you able to have, you know what I mean, like a healthy gut? You pour this poison on a weekly basis. You know what I mean? That's consistent. It doesn't seem like a lot, because for most moderate drinkers, it hasn't manifested as an outward problem in their life. It hasn't.
Right.
It hasn't caused them troubles. It hasn't caused them relationship troubles. You know what I mean? And you're always able to point and see that there's somebody a lot worse than you are, somebody that drinks a lot more than you do, so you're able to justify it. And so I think it is one of those things that just over time takes its toll on your body, and it's almost like silent, you know? It's like silent and dangerous. If you're only drinking like a couple nights a week, and you're not drinking that much when you do drink, you perceivably, you don't have any problems with drinking.
I just think that a lot of people are health conscious. Like if you look at in our lifetime, kind of the trends that have happened between CrossFit and group style gyms, between the type of training, like the way training has gone, and then even like I remember when paleo first came on the scene.
Yeah.
And paleo was like all the rage. That was kind of the precursor to Whole30, and really was the precursor in my mind to Mark's Daily Apple. Was like the blog that added all back in the day, like to what healthy eating looks like today.
Mm-hmm.
People are health conscious. They care about their health, right? When they learn. So what the paleo might have not gotten it perfect, but it was close.
Yeah.
And what the paleo really movement, Mark's Daily Apple movement, did for that time period was educate people on the harm they were doing to their body by the foods they were eating and the foods they were choosing to eat.
Yeah.
And once people learned that, then everybody started to adopt like, okay, well, I'm going to try this 30-day paleo challenge, But the reality is like that whole movement started with the realization that this is not good for me. And these foods that I'm eating are not good for me. And I think that is what I hope more people start to wake up to with alcohol. It's that there's been so much for good reason. There's been a lot of focus on alcohol overconsumption and abuse, binge drinking and abuse and addiction.
Yeah.
For valid, good reason. Who's going to be the one to address this and get the message that like moderate drinking is not good for your health? If you care about your general health and wellness in a serious way, like you can't even be a moderate drinker.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say, if I need to come up with a different term that's like micro drinker or something, because I started to research, once I kind of dug in on this more, I started to research. I was like, okay, well, what is like the max amount of alcohol you could even drink, right? To maintain a completely healthy gut microbiome.
Yeah.
And within, an approximate kind of reason, it's going to be different person to person, but it basically said like once a month, basically once every 3 or 4 weeks, one night, one occasion, max 2 to 3 drinks. Like that's it. Like people have no idea. People don't know that is like, that it is that limited. That's micro drinking. That's not moderate drinking. That's not, oh, I don't drink to get drunk. That is like, nobody's doing that.
Nobody.
What percentage of drinkers are doing that? It's a very small percentage.
Yeah. I think what is important also is just to have the awareness. So when I started tracking food for the first time,
right,
what I noticed is like how much I was just mindlessly eating. I wasn't eating bad, but I would just find myself like opening the refrigerator and like, what? I'm not even hungry. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like but I found myself doing that a lot. And so I wonder, people assume like, oh, I don't drink that much, man. It's just like on occasion. Like, do you actually know how much you're drinking? Maybe you should start tracking it. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
that's
okay,
a good
let
point.
me track my alcoholic intake.
Yeah.
Then you start to become aware, and then you maybe start doing some research. And because I do feel like knowledge is power, like education is important. I had a conversation with one of my clients just last week. She's not a heavy drinker, but she hasn't drank since we started. Like, I don't
that's
know,
awesome.
like 6 months ago. Last week she was asking, but like, what if, because I guess she's been wanting a glass of wine. She was like, well, what do you do like to deal with stress? And she said, don't say go for a walk. And which is funny because that's exactly what I was going to say.
Teeing up right then.
That's exactly what I would say.
I think the tool that alcohol is when it comes to stress is basically a procrastination tool.
Yeah.
You know, that's all it is. It's put it off. Well, what does procrastination do in other things? Like, let's not even talk about alcohol for a minute. We have that big thing on our, to-do list for too long, and it builds because it's on our mind and it's in the back of our mind. Even if we're not looking at it daily, it's in the back of our mind. It's in the back of our mind. Procrastination is never really a good tactic. It doesn't actually help with the stress. What helps with that stress is getting that thing, like eventually making the time to get to that thing that's been on your mind for 2 weeks, and you finally get it done, and then you feel so relieved. There are ways to like deal with your stress in terms of walking, sunshine, exercise. There's so many tactics that we still need. Like, that is a tool we have to have.
Yeah.
We can't not deal with stress in that way.
Yeah.
But sometimes stress is also just part of life.
It's part of life, and it's part of growth. If there's no stress, if there's no resistance, then we don't grow. We grow when we go through stress and actively try to figure things out.
Stress is a great thing to be in touch with, in a way, and alcohol keeps you from being in touch with your stress because it's teaching you something. It's warning you of something. It's your body's way of saying like, hey, maybe you need to slow down. Maybe you need to have that conversation. Maybe you need to get that thing done. Like, it's a great thing to be in touch with. At the first sign of stress, when you're a drinker, you'll go have a drink to procrastinate it and put it off. And then the stress that builds just kind of becomes a different type of stress because it's procrastinated stress. It's a different type. And then whereas if the longer you go sober, I've noticed this from doing it, like it seems to be that like stress changes. Because you're not stressed about the same moments because you're not dealing with them in that way. You're dealing with them in healthier ways, or you're just like, you know what, I'm tired of feeling that nagging feeling that I'm not willing to numb with alcohol. So I'm just going to go take care of it.
Yeah.
And then, so the things that are stressful to you might be totally different than somebody who's like willing to numb it at the first sign of feeling stress. Like elimination is actually one of the most effective tools for the gut.
Yeah.
So eliminating the bad inputs. And the worst input is alcohol. So that one's like the first to go,
Number one, alcohol.
We're in the weeds now of like, we want to be optimal human beings, which is what this is all about. It's what this challenge is about.
Yes. So this is pretty cool, man. I like it. Hopefully we provided some good stuff for you guys to take and apply to your life. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
See you guys. Cool.